Hello, everybody. Maybe give you a minute or two for a couple of people to get on here. What I'm gonna do is it's a '74 Ford truck seat. The guy brought it in. I got his truck over in the other building. He's redone it. It looks pretty good, but the inside, I'm gonna put some carpet in it, and he wanted this truck seat right here redone. I hadn't took it apart, so I did take the tracks off the bottom of it, but as far as like the seat, I hadn't took any of that apart. Gonna explain to you a little bit about how this seat's done and what it'll take to really like put it back. To cut down on the expense, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it a little bit different. It's still gonna be nice. It's still gonna look good, but I'm gonna do it a little bit different than the way it came. I really never did like this design right here too much anyway. I think I could make it look a little bit better than that. But it's what it is this material right here, it don't look that good either. It's kind of like a little bit of an Indian blanket. It did hold up now, you know, this is 1974, so, and this is the original. This is the real deal. But if you look right here, around the edge right here, they changed it from the bottom. If you look at the bottom, you see right here that it's sewed. The reason that they sewed that was to make that lip lay down flat right here. I have done it around the backrest too, but they didn't do it, and you see it does have a few little wrinkles right there. It's probably had that since it was made in 1974. If you look right here, you see the little bitty bead. Like, that's a real small. It's not this size. This is standard right here, but this right here, Ford come out with that. It was a little tiny bead. And if you look right here, I'm gonna explain this to you too. All right, if you look at this, and you see this is higher up here. You see it looks like it's like going uphill. And this right here is straight. You see how it's going around there, it's straight. How they achieved this was, you see that line right here. You see it? It's straight down through here. What they done was that material is actually cut at an angle. It's not straight. It looks like it was cut straight, but it's not. So I'm not gonna put this size bead right here back in it. I'm gonna put this one right here, this bigger one right here back in it. I think it looks better. The reason that they done that was so you wouldn't feel that right here on your back. And the backrest on this thing, it has a cover too. And like right there, they put a cover on there. We're gonna look and see if we can find a bill sheet for it. All right. It does have one bill sheet. Sometimes they put two on there, but I'm gonna show you this bill. This is the bill sheet right here, if you can see it. You see it sticking down right here? That actually has all the writing and everything on it that this truck came with. I'm gonna attempt to get it and save it to where he can get it laminated or whatever. Just according to what kind of car you got, that bill sheet can be worth $300, $400, $500. It might be worth more. It's according to what kind of car it is. But And a lot of people, you can reorder that build sheet. It ain't like the original though. I mean, it's going to be new, but it's not going to be. Hey Denise. Alright, so I'm probably going to be moving along here pretty quickly, maybe, whenever I start on this. I just wanted to explain some of the stuff to you while some of these people get on here. And I do have some patterns to this, but I'm not going to use my patterns because I want to do the video. Yeah, and I want to show somebody else how to do this. So if I use my patterns and I do it all the really real fast way that I do, it's gonna make it to where you're not gonna know how to do this. So without running my mouth a little bit more, I'm gonna try to show you. Hey y'all. I was going to attempt to use one of these. Y'all know what that is? And I broke the thing right out of the box. That goes to show. I need to send this back. I wish I could send it back to China because I know that's where it came from. That right here just popped right off. Nothing's made out of nothing no more. Not like it was in 1974. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start on. I'm going to show you this. This is the way I cut a seat apart. I don't take it off to cut it apart most of the time. Most of the time, I let the seat hold the cover in place for me. My knife is fairly sharp. Another thing, the reason I sharpen my knife a lot is dirt gets down in these seams right here. It will dull the knife pretty quick. So here we go. Whenever you're taking a seat like this apart and it's tore up real bad on this side, you can use this side, this is the good side where there ain't many people see it. You can use it to get your pattern, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Go. I done pulled the bolts out of here just to kind of speed it up. I usually do these separate. I do the backrest or either I do the bottom. Most of the time I don't mix them up too much. I might start sewing some of this stuff before I get to that point just by measuring it to where just to speed the job up. I do a bunch of things to speed the job up. I don't know how long it takes that average person to do one of these, but for me, you know, the faster that you can do it, the faster you can get paid, and that's it. This piece right here always come. It was real thick. They made that piece. Like, back in the good old days, they would make certain pieces. I guess they figured that was a weak spot. Because that piece of bark, that piece of metal right here, that goes across this seat right here. I don't know if y'all can see that far away. But we'll move you around a little bit. Alright, right here, there's a metal piece and it's kind of raw, it's sharp. So I'll take this right here off. I'm not gonna take this part right here apart because I got the other side. You need to sharpen. Yeah, probably. That, I bought that from a guy, I don't know where he got that from, but that right there was a really, really good, that has been one heck of a good knife sharpener. I wished I'd have bought 10 of them. It don't wear your knife out and it makes it pretty sharp. So this is my better side right here. This is the side really I'm gonna, if I make some measurements or whatever, I'll use this side right here. How many upholstery guys has done these seats and try to put this cover on and go over these? That right there is really, when you put this cover on and it's really, really tight, that right there, that stem sticking out, sometimes can be kind of hard to get that over there. All right, we got all this right here took apart. All right, and I will show you that this right here, that is really thick. That's like got some hard felt or something on the bottom of it. Hey, it is held up really good. And I'm gonna show you, remember I told you that this line right here was I told you this line was straight and it had that crown to it that went up. This is the reason right here. I'm gonna show you. Can you see that? That's the reason that it's got that rolled crown to it, is because it's cut like that really, and it's just sewed together to give it that crown. A little bit of an optical illusion, not that much, but if you cut the material straight and then sew it together, you're going to have a wrinkle and you're going to be thinking, you know what? Why ain't it working out? It's curved just a little. All right, there's my piece. Pretty good for 74. What's next year? The thing would be what, 50 years old? The bottom right here is in it's in pretty good shape too. I'm going to show you another thing that I usually do too that most people might not do. I've seen it not done. Is where it goes over this stem right here. That's the locking. They doubled that right there. They put a hard piece right here. That's to keep that from tearing whenever you put it back together. Acorn. Check this out. It has had the cover off before. Somebody's worked on it. Hey, that bottom might have had some work done on it. But if you look right here, you'll see that somebody, instead of fixing the springs, that's basically how they fix the springs. That looks like a t-shirt. Another t-shirt. Another one. And that's another shirt. A rag. A rag. A rag. And a pecan. Or pecan, whichever way you want to say it. So somebody's been in here, done some stuff. Man, that just cut my finger while ago. That's another thing in that upholstery business, you might get cut. Alright, so we're going to take these pieces right here. This is his bill sheet. Right here. Like I said, this right here tells everything that that truck right there had. You see it? It's got all the letters. It's got everything. You can't read it too much because it's so old. See if I can straighten my phone up. You can't read it really. It's kind of old, but you got to gently take this, because I am going to try to put it to where he can laminate it. Just kind of gently take that right there and put it up, save it. I'm going to put it in between a towel and fold it over it that way. All right, the foam on this type truck seat, the foam is really it's like it's a little weak, so we'll go from there. I'm gonna go get a spring. This is gonna take me just a minute to walk outside and pick it up, but I'll be right back with a spring. All right, everybody, I'm back. There's the spring. It's a little different than the one that came in there, but I'm gonna put it right back in here. I'm gonna put it just like this in there, and had to take that part right there off. Ooh. These clips right here, they work pretty good. Probably better than if they were just hard grained on. You just got to bend it to get it open. I can take and straighten that right there back out. Then this part right here, I can pull it around. Summer ain't over. Summer's not over. I can tell it's pretty warm in here. All right, so there's the clip right there. It come off. There's the broke spring. That thing right there will stick in your leg, in your butt, or whatever. It will stick in there if you're not careful. Alright, so if you look at this spring right here, you'll see it don't have no place to go. The way that one there was turned like this right here. Well, you know that's not gonna work. I might could stick it in there like that, and it might work like that. See what I'm talking about? Let's move some of this trash out of the way. And throw this right here, all these rags and towels and stuff away. That goes to show sometimes when you get your work done, you don't know what you're getting sometimes. You might get somebody that'll just, I've seen all kind of stuff in there. You just won't believe it. If I told you, you just wouldn't believe it. So that will work. It's going to take a couple of pair of pliers. Alright, so I got that spring right there in there. There we go. That right there don't look great. It looks like it needs to be a little bit tighter than that. That is tighter. This part right in here ain't too bad rusty, so I think that's pretty good. This side right here looks like it's down a little bit. Pull that right there up. Alright, so the frame is pretty good. I'm just going to take this. This is the ID number right here. I'm just going to take and fold it over, that way it's out of the way. Whew, I don't know about y'all. I just don't like my hands to be really, really dirty like that. That's where it was headed. All right, so this right here was the driver's side. We're going to save this part right here. Yeah, we'll save this part. I'm just going to stick it right here. This is the boxing. What you call the boxing. This side right here don't look too bad, so we'll save it. I'm just going to cut it off right here with some scissors. All right. So there's the pieces that we need. Starting to sweat a little bit up in here. I think I'll turn my fan back on. But we're going to cut these pieces right here out. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to put back on here in its place. This right here is just a regular expanded vinyl. It's some pretty good stuff. Red, pretty close to the red that's here. It's pretty close. So we're going to use that. And this right here is, I've had this for a long time. This used to be a big roll. This is called Comfort Weave, and I'm gonna let you see what it looks like up close. You see that? That's actually a little breathable. That is original Ford truck. Buy that right there from SMS. You're probably looking at $200 a yard. Fortunately, it ain't gonna take that much here. Alright, so we'll take this. Find my knife. Looking for my knife, y'all. Can't do nothing without it. Anyway, we'll take this right here, put it out of the way. Take these pieces right here, put it out of the way. There's my other clip, I'm gonna use it. Probably put it on the springs right there again. This right here, I'm gonna take and cut that off. Alright, I'll let that right there sit. Move it over here. till I get some of this other stuff done. What I can't believe is what I did with my knife. Lord have mercy. I can't do nothing without it. You know, everybody's got to have their knife. Hey, it's always right in front of you. If you're looking for something, always remember, it's right in front of you. See, I can't even cut that apart without my knife. I do have another one, something to practice there. Yeah. Alright, what we're going to do is we'll measure. It's right in front of you. That's where it always is. This is some people call it a China marker, some people call it a grease pencil. That's what it is. It's pretty easy to wipe off. They are different markers, and I've seen some people online use some. And the ones they use is the ones I want to try. Alright, you can lay it up here like this. This is pretty wide. It's like 80 inches wide or 70 inches wide. So I know that right there is going to be like 24, normally what it is. I'm gonna make it 20, that's 20, 21. I can make it about 24 if I have to. Always remember, before you start cutting on a piece of material, always make sure that you got that material straight. Because if you don't, and it don't line up just right, and this right here is cut off straight, but it's always good to check it and make sure. Alright, so this right here was showing like it was 21. $21 and a half. I think I'll make it 22 just to be, I can trim it back down. Always check your material. There's something on that right there. So that is 23. I'm gonna see if that dot right there get off of there. Move y'all closer. If you look real, if you can see that, that looks like a dot to me. It's like it's got something on it anyway. So what you got to do is check always check and make sure that your material if you got a spot on it, you're either gonna have to avoid that spot, or either you're gonna have to go past it. I've had people come in here and say, "Man, I didn't know that there was this much stuff involved in doing that poster work." Okay, can't get it off, got to go past it. So I'll make sure that I go over here 5 inches. Make sure that I don't use that. Alright, whenever you're doing this wide, where you're sewing like this right here, when you're doing that, when you're doing this part right here and you're sewing these lines right here, you need to make sure that you allow just a little bit, maybe about like that, because that material, as you sew it, is going to draw up some. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some to this right here. So whenever I sew it, it speeds it up. I'm going to do the back rest. There's another one in spots right there. Gonna move over here 5 inches, like I did down here. Gonna make that like 18 inches long. That's for the back rest. That way, whenever I glue this on here, when I glue that foam on here, I'll be covered. See, from I won't have to go back. I'm trying to do this right here, and you know, in a fast way. Maybe you can learn it in a fast way to where whenever somebody comes in, it don't take you all day long to do the seat. There's that piece. This right here is my insert parts. This is what I'm going to use on the truck seat in the sit down part. There's my foam. That should be about dry. Alright, so we'll take and cut that piece right here down. The way you shape this right here and the way you cut it down. First of all, is you just take part of it off so where you can tell where you're at. One thing, if you do cut too much off, you can go back and glue it back. Just like carving clay, you know, you take a little bit off at a time. Alright, look at this side, try to tell where I'm at. Take your grinder, don't have to be this kind, there's other kinds you can use, just take your grinder. We're going to shape that up real quick. Don't push down with this, you hold it up. You lightly touch it. Like this, just lightly do it. And that's how it's done. Alright, and that's what it looks like whenever it's done. Just like this. Just like that. It's pretty smooth. You want it smooth. You don't want no dip in here. You want it real level like that right there. That's the way you want it. You can take that piece right there that was in here, just like this right here. You can take this piece right here, cut it out, and you can fix it just like this. No biggie. Okay. Try to put the camera back up. Okay. We'll take these scraps. The little ones, we'll throw them away. The bigger ones, sometimes I use them to fill up a hole like this right here. I have found out you can't save it all. You can't. It will get in the way. That Comfort weave is twice as heavy as regular vinyl. You just take your Comfort weave and you lay it up here like this. Believe it or not, I've seen people put that in upside down. I don't know what that meant or why they did that. Just got some glue from Savannah, Georgia. It was about $200 for every 5 gallons. When your gun starts spraying real bad, this is what you do. You take you some lacquer thinner and you clean it off. This is one of the cheapos from the China store. Sells tools. Never hurts to take and put your big exhaust. Hold on. Put that big exhaust fan on, pull all the stink out of here. On something porous like comfort weave, you know, it's breathable. You might want to take and put a light coat on there. Don't put nothing heavy because it could go through. Just take your roll that your fabric comes on and slide it through here just like this. Just roll it out, just like that right there. Hold your material back. That actually has to sit just a minute. You want it to sit some, so it will dry a little. That is a contact cement. So you want it to dry some. I missed a spot here. A lot of stuff on this seat right here was not padded. Back in 1974, no padding. I'm gonna put some padding on it. It makes the seat look better. And the center part did have a piece of pad on it. Thought it might have a date on it, but nope, no date. Alright, I'm going to leave these right here together. The reason I'm leaving them together, I'm going to cut it in the center because I'm going to sew my lines this way, and I'm going to do the bottom and the back rest at the same time. Alright, so the short one up there is the back rest. Alright, so if you look at these lines right here, they were probably about 1.25 inches apart. 1, 2, 3, probably about 1.25 inches. Just to make sure we will stick a ruler on. Inch and a half. This Sharpie right here don't write real good, so I'm gonna try to get an ink pen. I want a fine line on there. Let's see if that writes. Yeah. I want a fine line on there because I want the lines really straight. 12. Make sure, I think that started in the middle. It actually, you can't hardly see it, but it's got an unpleated area right here in the center. You can see it from the back side. See, it's unpleated. It's unpleated in the center right here. Now, I can do that. I can put it back. Unpleated. 6 inches. I think it would look better if it was all pleated. That section in the middle, just think, with this type of stuff here, I don't think it's gonna look as good. So what we'll do is, we'll go from I'm just marking them 1.5 inches. I'll go all the way across it like this right here. Just speeding it up, y'all. Just turning it around, speeding it up, just like this right here. That's all. Got my center mark, about 1.5 inches. Okay, got all my 1.5 inch marks drawn on there. I don't think y'all can see it, but I think I'm gonna bring it down here where you can. You might be getting the customer's bird's eye view where they sit sometimes when they come in here. Let me see if I can get you right here. Can you see it any better? The ones that's watching? All right, here we go. So gonna take this right here. I'm not going all the way to the edge. It's gonna draw it up just a little bit, but I'm gonna take this right here. Take my ink marks. You always want to make sure that your lines are straight. That's what you're going to see. I mean, it's going to be right in your face whenever you sew it. So you always want your lines straight. And we know they're going to be straight on the backrest because we're doing the backrest and the bottom at the same time. They are going to, they will line up. Make sure you get all your lines on there just like that. Take the other piece. A lot of this is repeat. I will try to speed it up a little bit if I can. Alright, so we're about done here. Okay, got all the lines drawn. Just like that. You can see they're pretty straight. Here's the other side right here. I'm gonna sew all these right here, going to get this much out of the way. Then I come back and I start cutting the boxing and stuff like that out. So I'm gonna bring you over here to the sewing machine. Right over here. Might bring you down a little bit. I've never marked the foam on that side. Yeah. I've marked it on both sides. I've marked it on the top side. I've marked it on the bottom side. I've marked it both ways. I think when I first started, I would try to cover that ink line up. When I was marking it on the top side, I'd cover it up. You wouldn't be able to see it. And I think that's one thing that kind of helped me get really good at doing a straight line. You know, you got to have somebody that's, you got to be able to do a straight line really good. So here we go. I'm gonna just sew these right here up real quick. Make sure. Sometimes I take this foot off. I want to make sure that it's really tight because I want to be moving kind of maybe a little quicker. that's what it's going to look like. It's going to be just pleated like that. Looks pretty nice. Look a whole lot better once it's all done. Always remember to oil that sewing machine. Turn this material right here around and start sewing it the other way. Sometimes if it's not glued real good, where you go this way one way and you go this way the other way, it'll put like a wrinkle in that material. So you need to know that if you go as far as you can, make sure that you've got it glued real good, because if you don't, make you pull them stitches. It'll make you pull them stitches back out. So there's where is that? I'm gonna take and cut this right here in two. That's one's my bottom, one's my top. You see I got all these right here sewed. Got to sew this other one right here. Then all my seams and stuff, my inserts will be done. So that's gonna be pretty cool, I think. I don't know if there's enough to go down through there. So I'm gonna, it might have been enough to go down through there, but it wasn't a whole lot. So I'm gonna take this right here and put a new bobbin on here. We don't really want to run out, you know, in the middle ways. Got 3 more lines to sew, so that'll be pretty good. Alright everybody, that is sewed right there, so that wasn't too bad. I could have sewed it back kind of like it was with the no pleats in the middle, but the no pleats in the middle just did not look as good. So now we'll cut out the box. lay this stuff right there. Oh yeah, you get stuff scattered everywhere whenever you're putting this stuff together sometimes, you know. This right here is the way that this roll right here is not wide enough. I already know it without measuring it. It's not wide enough to get this back piece out and probably the piece across the top. So to get this piece right here that goes across the back, I had to go down like this right here to get it. Like that. It's probably, it could be stretched a little bit, so I'm just gonna put this ruler up here to make sure that I get it just right. Because we don't want to make it, we don't want to make the pattern look stretched. Does that make any sense? You know, it can wiggle and stuff like that, so you're gonna take this right here, you're gonna come right here. Draw me an ink pen mark across here, go right down through here. Right down through here. I can't slide it down, I guess, make another mark. I'm just gonna leave it where it was, because it could be shrunk. This stuff right here will shrink up. This don't have, it had that felt looking stuff on the back side of it. So I got some material right here, like that, with okay, I got this right here. It's got that felt looking stuff on the back side of it, so I'm gonna use this right here, like this. I'm just gonna glue a piece of it. I'm gonna glue this to this, so I have that new felt on the back side. And I'll do that in just a minute. Right now, I'm just cutting some of these pieces right here out. Like, I don't have that piece right there yet. But I am fixing to cut it. I don't have the backrest apart. I don't have that piece apart, but I know that this right here is wide enough. Yeah. So this right here is the top of the back seat. It's 6.5. So I'm just gonna stick it over here next to the seat. That way I can kind of keep up with it and not get these pieces and patterns and stuff intermingled together. Alright, this right here is this is the bottom right here, like the sides and stuff. I'm gonna make these pieces. Sometimes to make that piece right there lay down, you need to sometimes you need to cut it like this because it's stretched. It's stretched all the pieces. So I'm just gonna get these pieces right here out like that and make it lay on down. Remember we talked about that piece angled right here to get that dome cover at the first of the video. I was gonna draw all these out and put the foam on it first, but the patterns are so crafty. I'm having to do it like this. If I'd have did that, I wouldn't have had to cut all this. It eliminates a lot of extra cutting if I draw it and cut them all at one time with the foam on it. So it eliminates a lot of cutting. All right, so we got them pieces. Got one piece in the center. It is the center piece, 7.5 by 21. Goes on the bottom. I think the top is 19. And 18. This goes with the back rest that goes in between them two pieces. Just another piece. Hey y'all, it's just like a puzzle. Get it out, sew it together. This is a wide piece right here. It goes across the front of the seat. You don't have to put this listing right here on there, that black looking part. You don't have to put it on there. You can You can just make it out of the same vinyl right there that it is. It don't have to. I don't know exactly why they did that, but you don't have to. You don't have to use that. It shortens the time up too. Spend most of the time looking for stuff. I can look at this side right here and tell that was the passenger side. I can tell that this side right here is straighter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put one mark right here. And I'm gonna cut this right here to get my pattern for the other side. If you've ever wanted to know how to work with stretch patterns, this right here is one way to do it. Alright, so I fold it over and I get my side right here. Alright, so there's my side unstretched. Alright, so that's the front of the seat. Right there. This right here. Come off the passenger side. Most of the time it ain't stretched too bad. It looks like it's stretched a little bit, so I'm gonna cut some relief cuts in here, just like that. Just so it'll lay down just a little bit better than what it was. Just like that. Alright, so this is the way you do it. You know, I ain't even asked y'all if this was buffering or something, nothing like that. You know, it will do that. I was in here the other day, he asked me, he said, how do you draw around there without that material right there moving? And what you do is you lightly hold that pin. Alright, remember we talked about this. Whenever I showed you this piece right here, it's got that piece right here on the back side, that right there. You need to take and put your piece on the back side. because they don't put nothing on there for no reason, believe me. Alright, just take my glue gun. I'm gonna just glue them pieces on there. Oh, we'll let that sit for just a minute. This back rest over here, I got to do these pieces. I got to take it apart. I'll go ahead and sew some of this stuff like this right here up. Whenever you're doing this, you might want to put your V on the top of it, like this right here. That's in the middle. That lets you know that's the top. This right here. I've seen these broke all two pieces, so this one's in pretty good shape. I do have some new ones, but I don't like to use mine unless I got to. All right, we'll take this right here. I'm gonna just take and curve these edges just so, like that, right here. Alright, so we'll come over here and I'll sew these right here together and sew this piece on there. Hey y'all, it's just one more step closer. For real, it ain't as easy, you know. It ain't like snapping your fingers and putting it all together. A lot of people think it is, that you can just like snap your fingers and put it together. It don't work like that. Remember these pieces I just glued on there? I'm gonna take and sew around them. Just like that, and then I'm gonna take and cut this right here. Then I'll punch my hole through here. And you see that's double thick now. Alright, so we got it all sewed up right here. I'm gonna take this. Sew this boxing on here. When I sew that down, most of the time I'll take and pull it apart. Like, as I sew it, I'll take and pull it, like, make it lay down. cut this right here. I mean, I can sew a piece of listing like on it, but I'm just gonna sew some original welt. That's what this right here is. I'm just gonna sew some original welt on here, like this. And all that's for is the hog ring too. Give it something to hog ring too, to keep it from tearing the material. Whenever you're doing this, you wanna be able to make it where the hog rings won't pull through there. And so that's the reason. Alright, and this piece right here, this, I could wash that, but I don't think it's going to make a big difference if I wash it. I will have to take my foot off, but that's a cording foot, like what I sewed that welt cord with. If you don't know what a welt foot is, I'm fixing to show you. You see that notch in that foot? Like that cord right there goes right in that notch, and it holds it in place. So that's, I take that foot off. It's a little bit wide. And here's one that I made. I cut that foot up and made it to where it would be to where I could sew that C-channel on here. That's the reason that I made that foot right here to where I can get up next to it really close. Like this. Okay. So we got that. We got the boxing right here done. We got the other part. I got to put the that felt on the back of it, like I had talked about earlier. And I'll show you what I'm fixing to do with that. Come right on back on over here. So I'm gonna take this right here. Put this right here with the rest of that stuff. Alright, that was that piece. Remember, it's got the C-channel on it too. I'm going to take my knife and cut that off. Okay. That's really dirty. I might wash that off sometime. Always remember, you don't want no dirt in your sewing machine. It's a bunch of things you might wish you hadn't done. But if you get dirt in that sewing machine, that'll be one of them. You will wish you hadn't done that. I guarantee it. Alright, there's the felt right there, the black. Let's see if it's wide enough. Let's see if I made it just wide enough. Just enough. Probably that'll work. And the reason that's on there like that is because of that sharp metal on the back. That's the reason. It's on the back of that seat. It's there's a bunch of sharp metal on seats anyway. Okay, so we got this piece right here done. We'll set it over there to the side. The center pieces and the edges that goes around the edge of the bottom got to be done. So what I'm gonna do is try to use some of the scrap pieces. Instead of that foam is pretty expensive, so I don't want to have to cut it all up. And these pieces right here, that's the center. That's the two sides. So I'm just gonna lay them right here. Spray them. If I'd have had some good patterns, I'd have done had these cut out. But my patterns wouldn't work scrap. Here's my center piece for the backrest, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue it. Any pieces that you can glue while you're gluing that's already cut, you need to, then they got to be glued, you might as well go ahead and glue it. Anytime you can speed up the process, you need to be speeding it up. Because it takes long enough as it is. All I'm doing is just cutting these pieces right here out, cutting the foam from around the edge. And I don't think you can see because of the blockage of this piece right here. Alright, so here's my pieces right here. Before this is sewed together, these bottom pieces right here have got to be took and made sure that they match the pattern. You can't just magically do it without making sure that they match your pattern. So here, this right here was for the passenger, and that's the center right here. So that's I'm gonna see if I can't show you what I'm talking about right here on making that edge round. This right here. I'm going to try to divide that up a little bit to where I can keep my line in the center. So I'm going to take some of this right here off the edge. Doggone, that phone's all crooked. Alright, I'm lining it up, get my center in the middle, and I'm going to take some off of this edge, and I'm going to take some off of this edge right here. If I can find a pin that's right in front of me, that's where it's always at. But I got a different one. So that needs to be a 1/2 inch right here on this side. So I'm coming right here, and I'm just going to leave a 1/2 inch, just like that. And that does go in a little bit right here. And then this right here. So I'm just going to mark it right here. And I'm going to mark it right here. Then I'm gonna take a ruler and make sure that I get that really straight. Alright. So I cut this piece right here. This is the center part. It was just a little wide. I made it a little wide, right, like for a reason, where I could trim it. Okay. You take your other piece right here, you lay it face down, you lay it like this. Line your stitch marks up right here. Make sure they're always lined up. Here we go. There we go. You always got to do the opposite. You don't want to cut two of them out exactly alike. That'd be pretty bad. You just start over. Okay, so I got all these pieces right here. They're all right. They're just right. So what I'm gonna do is I know this right here is the front, so I'm gonna write front on it. This is the front, I'm gonna write front on it. Alright, so that's the front. Here's my pieces right here. I'm gonna take and sew these pieces right here on there, and that'll be the bottom. That's the center. That's my other piece. Alright, so let's go over here and sew this bottom together. Wait, something else we got to do. We got to the welt cord on this needs to match this material, and the welt cord that I got is darker, and I don't think it's going to look just right with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna roll this out right here, and I'm gonna get me some welt cord off of this roll. I'm just gonna get me some welt cord off of here. Make sure that's lined up, squared up. It's going to take me about 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, let me see. It's going to take me about 3 pieces maybe at the bottom, maybe a little more. 2, 3, 4. And it's going to take me at least that much for the back. One more. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 9 pieces right there. That'll be 9 pieces of welt cord. And what I'll do is I'm just gonna cut them out real quick, and go from there. And I'm just gonna cut these up where I can sew them together. I see 'em. Okay, so we got that much right there cut up. Let's come over here and sew these. I don't know where my small tripod is. I have a little small one. I just don't know what happened to it. I'll straighten you up. Maybe you can see it. All right. Let me get my. This is called welt cord. It's just a sponge rod type cord. I had to change the foot right here to put my cording foot back on it. I'll try to show you how this works, how it works. Okay. We go around here. Maybe I can try to zoom it in a little bit where you can see. You doing a 4-door 87 Chevrolet next week? I did a front seat. But you got one just like this. I got another 206 RB over there, and I got a FAF. And they are. When I first bought it, many moons ago, I didn't know how good it was. But really, it's pretty good, I think. One thing you need is kind of like what I think is a sharp knife. If you got a really sharp knife, a long blade knife works real good for making welt cord. But I'm gonna take this knife right here, and because I've been cutting on that doggone seat down in between the bead, you know, and it's got dirt in it. So we'll start right here. I'm probably going to run out of the bobbin really soon. Alright, you take this right here, your piece, you turn your knife at an angle like this, and you a really sharp long bladed knife works real good, but this is the way I put the bead together. You might have a different way, but whenever I take and pull it like this, you can't tell where I put it together. And I like that pretty good. See, you can't really tell it. It hides it pretty good. Anyway. Hopefully we can get this on there, on the seat, and start putting some of these pieces together. You got to pull that right there. You got to pull it tight so where that beveled edge will close up to where you can't tell if you put it together. There you go. This doggone thing right here like twists up sometimes. Makes it hard to. I knew it was going to run out. I may have to wind a bobbin or two in just a little bit. I would sell that Pfaff I got if y'all was interested in buying a sewing machine. It's supposedly it's a really good machine. The guy died and his son didn't know what to do with it. 4 more to sew. Alright, y'all. What I'm gonna do is fold this right here back, and I'll use this right what I got up until I get to needing some more. Then I'll put some more on. Alright, so here we go. I don't know how y'all sew. This is the way I sew. I'm gonna save my red thread while I sew around that. This is just to lock in that material right there. It don't it's not never gonna be seen. So it don't matter what color thread I'm using. You don't have to do this right here. It's just something I do. Everybody's got their own style, you know. Oh, gone. That style ain't good. Running off the material. The rope front on the front, so I think this is the back right here, probably. There's why I wrote front, so we know that's the front. This right here is the center, because that right there's got that curve in it for that piece right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sew this piece right here. I'm gonna sew this edge on first, And if you see this right here, it's like sticking up. And that's the way it's supposed to do. Because whenever you turn it back down, it goes back round like that. So that's the way it's supposed to work like that. If something bumps in the material from the other side, like if you're pushing it through, it can really knock you off. Alright, so now we got both of these pieces right here done. Right here, I'm gonna sew this piece right here on. Right here. After I put the cord in it. So we got this piece right here sewed in. We got one more piece to sew in, and that'll be that'll wrap it up on the top side. Sewing these inserts together. Alright, so there's the seat. I'll sew this back part back here at the back, and you got to put that on before you can do the put me a little V right here where I know where the center is. This piece right here that we put the felt on, like that, it needs to be kind of thick because that piece back there is a little bit on the rough side. Alright, instead of sewing this together right this minute, I am fitting to sew it on, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take and wash that piece right there. It won't take me but just a minute to wash it, blow it off. You can tell it's got a bunch of dirt in there, and I don't want that in my sewing machine. Remember what I said about the dirt. Believe me, you don't want no dirt in that sewing machine. You'll be having to call somebody because you'll be saying, why is it skipping? One part of that right there is a little bit. Sometimes it's best to try to fold that right there and figure out where your center mark is. They used to put a little mark in there. Change your foot. I just had to move it back a little bit to sew this right here on. So here we go. That really needs to be in the center right here. You need to make sure you got that in the center when you sew it. Some people start in the center. Some people come over here to the edge just like I'm doing right here. You see, it's lined up right here in the center. Change my foot back. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is fold this right here down and put this is called a top stitch. It came with that. I'm pulling it back like this, pulling it as I sew. So my knife sharpener up. Well, come on. If that was a top stitch or something like that that was seen, I wouldn't have done that. See where I started over right there? I did back stitches, but I wouldn't have let that. I would have pulled it through and tied it and started over or whatever, to where it would never be seen. Fixing to go around the edge of it with this bead right here. Y'all, I may have to back y'all up just a tad. This is sewing this big piece sometimes kind of gets in the way of the camera. Sometimes to go around that curve, you might need to put a little relief cut in your I'm gonna cut some of that fatness out of that. So just bead just like this right here. Once I sew this on, once I sew this on, I'll come back and put the top stitch on it just like it was. Just a second. Sometimes you got to stop whenever somebody walks in. Make that relief cut right there. I always leave that tail right there a little bit long, right there, in case I go up under the seat and have to hard ring it or something like that. Believe it or not, there's a bunch of that. There's a bunch of this that's gone. All that I sewed up is about that I sewed on the seat. Got to get the boxing. We'll sew the boxing around here. Then we'll fold that over. And I'm going to put that top stitch, and that top stitch is going to attach to this piece right here and make it lay flat. Remember whenever I sewed it together, I put that V in it right here. There's the V. I'm gonna line it up right here. A lot of people come around here and then they flip it over. They do it like that. I saying I ain't never done it, but I'm just saying I don't, as a rule, I don't do it. I usually just go back around it like this right here. And sew it on all at one time. I got a friend of mine that does upholstery work. He sews it in the middle, he flips it back over. He does that all as to what he does. So I'm not knocking it. Like I said, everybody's got their own way, and lot of people mark this all the way around. I've seen them. I mean, I've seen them online. They mark it. They mark it all the way around it, and they do like that. And that ain't a bad idea. And seat covers hitting the camera. It ain't a bad idea to come in here and check it to make sure that you're halfway while you're this far away. So the boxing's on. I don't have to come back in here and sew that down. A bunch of people do, a bunch of people don't. I was just gonna do it because it was done that way from the factory on this seat. But you don't have to do it. I mean, that's just your choice if you want to do it. I'm gonna say it ain't the easiest thing to do either. So, you know, if you decide not to, that's fine. I want to change that foot or leave that foot on. I wish I could show you what I'm doing. Maybe I can just set that on the seat and let you see. So you're having to pull this apart like this, as you sew, like this. And you got to keep it straight because that's a seam stitch. See? That stitch is seamed. So, you know, when you're doing stuff like that right there, you got to make sure that you keep these lines right here straight. It seems like there's a lot of pressure on it. I just don't want to knock the camera down or my phone down. That's the camera. So there we go. Maybe you can see that. What I'm gonna do now is check this cover, or just put it on, not check it, but put it on, and probably be as the bottom. I mean, the backrest is just the same way. It's done about the same way as this right here is. I'll just do the bottom. Video's getting a little long. Let's see how it fits. See if I've done it right. Shouldn't I have checked first? Shouldn't I have checked first to make sure that it was going to fit first? We'll move this out of the way. Here's the seat frame. We'll stick it up here. Take the foam right here. These right here, I never cut them in, so I would have to cut these pieces right here in. So, right here. They're pretty easy to cut in though. So. I got a cutting block right here. I'm just going to take this cutting block I know it goes right in here. So I'm just gonna take this right here. I know it goes right there. Down just a little bit. Take and turn that inside out right here. Stick that through there. That's a little on the tight side. And that's what it looks like when you get done. I'm probably gonna take this and hit it with the sandblaster a little bit. Like, take the cover back off and hit it. Hit that, knock the rust off of it. Probably gonna touch it up with a little bit of paint because you know you want it to look good. And these right here, you can look at these right here and tell. That right there's pretty rusty. So I'll be hitting that right there with the sandblaster and putting some paint on it. Tomorrow, probably finish this seat right here, but tomorrow I'm gonna put the carpet and stuff over there in the other shop in this truck, and we'll put the seat in there and see what all it looks like whenever it's all said and done. So thank everybody for watching. I know it took a long time, but it takes a long time to do upholstery work. Maybe you can pick up some of this stuff that I don't even say nothing about and you just watch me do it. I want to thank everybody for watching. This is a dying trade. A lot of people don't learn it. It took me years. I've been doing it for years, so you know it takes a lot to get good at it, and I just want to let everybody know I appreciate you watching and taking an interest. And I'll see y'all next time. Thanks.